So, welcome. Good to see you. And I want to invite you to our next online retreat. It's December 6th through the 8th, 2024. So I do hope you can join that. Do hope you can join. And the retreat is going to focus on spiritual empowerment. And when we come into this world and we get beat up by life, it's a confusing experience. And so we need to find a way to navigate this world. And one of the ways is through navigating with peace, or through mindfulness, through being deeply calm and at ease. Another way is through navigating with love. And then, of course, the way we'll focus on during the retreat is how to walk here on planet Earth with a strong back and an open heart, being fully empowered in our spiritual sense of self. And so today's teaching is going to be about something that might seem opposite to power, but it's the thing that generates power. And so on this crazy, wild, overwhelming path of Kundalini awakening, we're not going to be able to do this alone. We're not going to be able to do it by ourselves. By ourselves, I mean with our own egoic nature. This path will push you beyond anything and everything that you could ever imagine in the realm of difficulty. We'll bring up our greatest fears and our greatest hopes and dreams, and we'll crush many of these. We'll crush many of these. And while we're being crushed, we might have all kinds of thoughts that this isn't fair and this isn't right. And in a human sense, that's true. It's not fair and it's not right from your human egoic perspective. But most of us grow up in a culture where we don't really have faith in God. We have faith in our ego and we have faith in our will. And this path of spiritual awakening is here to crush our egoic identity, crush our egoic will, so that something greater can come in its place. Something greater. It's an awakening. We are waking up out of the dream state of ego. And this Kundalini Shakti, it tends to create all kinds of disastrous experiences in our egoic identity. And whether that's not being able to work or not being able to function or not being able to sleep or not being able to be in a relationship or being so sensitive or having kriyas all the time and, all these things, they ultimately have a wisdom. And the wisdom is to bring forth something greater, something that we don't yet know about. And so on this path, to be empowered, we're not just going to use more and more will. We're not going to think and strategize our way through this process. Our power is going to come through surrendering to the divine. And so if you see any saint or sage, any great being on planet Earth, that individual is always moved by something greater than their own self. Something greater. And so on this path, we have to learn how to receive this greater thing. We have to learn how to receive. We need to know how to give love and kindness and compassion to ourselves. We have to learn how to stop our mind and to drop into silence or stop, any insane behaviors or vortexes that we get lost in. We need to know how to stop. We need to know how to love. We need to know how to stand in the truth. We have to know how to surrender. We have to know how to show up as peace. But ultimately, even this is not enough. We have to learn how to surrender and receive and be uplifted and be carried by grace. It's one of the most confusing things on this path is our whole life we are taught that we have to do it, whatever it is, like our job or life, or you have to be the parent to our children, or, we have to show up. And in this moment, I'm inviting you to do something even greater than that. We have to learn on this path of awakening to surrender our will so that a greater will can come. And in order for this greater will to come, we have to be proficient at receiving from the divine. And so I'm going to invite everyone to shut down your eyes if you haven't already. And I invite you just to scan your body and see if you can find your will. The will, it tends to be this energy of pushing or fighting or striving or efforting. And while that can be very helpful at stage 1 of the spiritual awakening, at stage 2, where you are all at, we have to let go of the striving. We have to let go of the fighting. We have to let go of the guarding or the defending or the upholding. And we have to learn how to receive love, receive support, receive strength. And so I invite you to find your will. It's probably in the second, third chakra center. Be big aspects of your will there. It's going to be lesser aspects of the will in your throat. And of course, in your thinking mind. And I'm going to invite us to really soften, to open, to imagine laying yourself down, laying your thoughts, your ideas about how life should be. If you have any ideas that life is not fair, it's not right, it's not just. If you have any thoughts that I can't do this, this is too much, I can't handle this, I'm totally overwhelmed, I'm going to invite us to lay all these thoughts, all these emotions, all these feelings, the entirety of our body. I invite you to lay down on this altar, giving yourself permission to surrender through in and through out. And being uplifted by the divine. By the divine. Being uplifted by grace, by nurturing, by support, by strength. And so, let us scan the body and we'll go through the chakra centers, letting go of any push or any fight or any sense of being closed off. Often we're closed off in our crown chakra. We're not even open to God. We're only open to our egoic idea of how life should be, or I have to do the path all by myself, or some combination of this. But instead, this day, we are choosing to give up the fight and allowing ourselves to be carried, to be uplifted, to be held and nurtured. Can allow our egoic will just to be dormant for a while and invite God's grace to come into us. To hold us, to nurture us, softening in the space of the mind, softening any thoughts or ideas of panic or fighting with energy or fighting life, softening, opening, and receiving support from heaven. So coming down into the throat and softening the throat chakra. For many of us, when we feel overwhelmed with energy, we unconsciously grip in the throat and in the jaw and the back of the skull. And so we're softening, opening, and melting here. And courageously saying, I believe in something greater. I believe in this path. I believe in the intelligence of God. I believe in the transformative power of the light, even if it's uncomfortable, unpleasant, confusing, disorienting, ego shattering. We are choosing to believe and to have faith and to open. Despite the inward chaos or the outward chaos, we are consciously choosing to have faith in times of darkness, turmoil. So softening and opening in the heart. And again, really feeling into your heart. And if there's any emotion here, or pain, or sadness, we let the tears flow. We let them empty. If there's any giant blockage in the heart, we let it break. We let it break. We let it break. Inviting it to break open. Inviting resistance to break down. Invite any sense of me against the world to fall apart. And instead, this day, choosing, allowing, inviting yourself to be childlike, open and receptive to being carried on the path. Most of us, this Kundalini journey has felt like this, like scaling a mountain, like climbing a vertical cliff. In this moment, I invite you to let go of any and all efforting, letting yourself be held, nurtured, supported. Any of you feeling unsafe, I invite you to let God come forward and protect you. Let God fight your battles. Let God fight the battle with the forces of darkness. breathing, feeling, opening. For some of you, almost like you've been gripping a sword way too intensely. And giving yourself permission to put down the sword, put down the fight. And let the grace of God triumph within you. Letting the grace of peace triumph in the mind, the heart, the body. Inviting this gentle light to wash over your nervous system, soothing the body, soothing the mind, soothing the will. And so, yes, continuing to breathe, to feel, to soften, to open. Receiving fully in the space of the heart. Inviting this light to hold the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, chest, holding the entire upper half of the body in this space, soothing, radiant light. So now, as we come down and include the solar plexus, the centers of the human will, I want you to notice all the ways that you have fought in this world. Whether it's fighting with mother, father, sister, brother, the neighbor, friends, family, strangers. And let's put down that fight. Looking at the ways you fought with yourself, or tried to control or manage or maintain or control your thoughts, control your emotions. Or some of us have an anxious self that's fought with a controlling self. Controlling self fighting with a judgmental self. Worldly self fighting with a spiritual self. Whatever the fight has been inside. The human self fighting with the divine self. The human self fighting with God, fighting with life, fighting with Kundalini, fighting with this energy. We're giving ourselves permission to put down the sword. To put down the fight. To put down the resistance. To put down the struggle. And allowing yourself to receive this healing light. Allowing yourself to receive the grace of God. Allowing yourself to receive this immense peace and silence, which is always here every moment of our life, holding us, nurturing us, supporting us. Can you open this vast expanse of peace and allow any and every aspect of your humanity that's been at war, giving it permission just to rest. Just to rest. Breathing. Feeling. Softening. Opening. 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 Letting go of every wall of resistance. And letting yourself simply receive. Simply be nurtured. Simply be supported. Now, there's a handful of you hanging out in your head. And in our head, in our thinking mind, it's very hard to receive. I want you to come down into your heart. It might help you if you're in your head. Place a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly. Coming home to the tenderness, the innocence, the vulnerability of the heart. And opening here. Receiving here in the space of the heart. And it's okay to let go. It's okay to put the fight down. It's okay to admit I, the ego, can't do this. I, the mind, can't control this. But I, the heart, choose to open to this and see if there's another way. Another way. So breathing, feeling, softening, opening. Opening to love. Opening to grace. Opening to peace. Opening to the silence, to the stillness, to the radiance, to the light, to the holy fire. And so we're continuing to open down into the hara, the second chakra center, the lower abdomen. Yeah, this tends to be a place where we really argue with God. And so again, if there's anything within you holding a sword, put the sword down. And trusting that you can open more fully in the belly. In the root. Giving yourself permission to fall open. To fall open. Yes. Some of you are having tears. You let those tears wash over the space of the heart. Some of you are having little bits of panic, and so we let the panic just empty out into the sky, the silence, the peace. In order to fully receive, sometimes we have to fully empty out first. Fully empty out first. But please know, all the while, being in this space, the fact that you're here is a testament to your trust, your faith, the fact you're doing it right. So breathing, feeling, softening, opening, receiving this love. The Divine Mother has come forward and she has a message for each of you. Just let me carry you the rest of the way. Let me carry you the rest of the way. I'm going to receive that as well. Let me carry you the rest of the way. You don't have to do, you don't have to perform, you don't have to uphold or uplift or resist or fight. Let yourself fall backwards, fall open, and be caught, be carried by the divine. Let yourself be carried through this world, this life, this path. And yes, we're breathing, feeling, opening, allowing ourselves to be carried, to be held, to be nurtured, allowing ourselves to receive the warmth, the light, the love of this moment, of this moment. And so, before we open our eyes, I invite you just to scan your body one more time and see if there's one last thing that's coming forward that wants to be surrendered at the feet of the Divine Mother. So we say, Mother, I give this to you. And I let you carry me the rest of the way. The rest of the way. Well, beautiful, friends, beautiful. So you can gently open your eyes now. And I just want to acknowledge that, all of you, I'm sure, most of you in the Sangha know David Morris, and he does this beautiful thing each morning as he gets up at the crack of dawn and he goes out and gets in the ocean and lets the ocean hold him and carry him, soothe his soul. So on this path, it's too hard. It's too hard to walk this path and to do it all with your willpower. We need to have great periods where we're just laying down and receiving and letting the grace wash over us, letting the Mother carry us along the way. This is a skill that is so necessary, is to fully let go and allow yourself to be carried in grace.